Hey everyone, how's it going? Today, let's take a detailed look at the 2010 Bentley Continental GT Supersports. And this is going to be a detailed, in-depth view of the Supersports. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clipping over the performance data, as well as show you a bunch of the unique aspects of the interior as well as exterior.
And before we begin, I'd like to extend a big shout out and special thanks to Bentley Charlotte, located in Charlotte, North Carolina, for allowing me to come out and take a look at this very unique 2010 Bentley Continental Supersports.
And so, without further ado, let's go ahead and start her up, let her run. Now the Supersports, just like the standard Continental GT, features an integrated smart key access system. So all you have to do is just keep the key fob in your pocket, and locating the little black button on the driver and passenger side door handles, you're able to lock and unlock the vehicle. To lock, just tap it. 2 beeps indicate locking, then after waiting a second, just grab the handle. There's a touch sensor behind, and it automatically unlocks the vehicle. And if you fail to close the vehicle all the way, an electromechanical mechanism will automatically bring the door back into its housing.
This unique white exterior is known as Ice and is one of the 2 optional color schemes that you can only get on the Supersports in addition to the normal Bentley color palette. With an equally unique 2-tone interior color scheme of hand-stitched hot spur leather and diamond-quilted beluga alcantara.
Now to power on the vehicle, there's actually 2 different ways to do it. You can use the little switchblade key and use the ignition cylinder to the left of the steering column, or the push button located in the center console. To use the push button, all you have to do is put your foot on the brake, hold down the button to start. What a wonderful sound.
The Supersports features speed proportional rack and pinion steering with a revised steering rack and electronic dampers for a more of a direct, planted feel while cornering. All nicely complemented with a unique 4-spoke steering wheel with leather and alcantara and color accent stitching. Heavy bolsters up top, as well as aluminum highlighting your multifunction controls. The strengthened ZF 6-speed automatic transmissions features Bentley's new quick shift system. It cuts shift times by 50% by holding back the ignition and upshifts. It also emits unique throttle blips on downshifts and allows double gear downshifts. Also, the new torsion center differential features a more rear biased 40 to 60% torque split between front and rear for the standard all-wheel drive system rather than an even 50-50 split on the standard Continental. There's also a manual mode for the transmission that allows manual gear changes via the selection down below in the shift housing or via the steering wheel mounted gear levers. While in automatic, a sport mode raises the shift points and increases the shifting crispness.
So we're going to flip on the automatic projector headlamps, rear fog lamps, as well as the hazards. Naturally, all the windows are fully automatic, and with laminated glass for better safety and noise isolation. And we'll check out the exterior, shall we?
The Bentley Continental lineup has been with us now for around 10 years, and throughout that time we've seen the introduction of various performance variants and even the 4-door Flying Spur. Unlike other high-end automakers in this segment, Bentley puts more of an emphasis on performance and feel rather than quiet isolation. Not to say that they're not some of those finely crafted cars on the road, but that they also have a dual personality. This dual personality has led to them always being recognized as the driver's alternative in the ultra-luxury segment. Cars that would give a sense of refined performance in a comfortable GT car. Of course, this history was revitalized in a bold new way with the all-new 2004 Continental GT, which combined a potent twin-turbo W12 and sleek fastback styling. Although this was a great blend of power and comfort, it wasn't necessarily a strong competitor with higher performance GT cars, mainly due to weight. After all, the standard Continental GT is a heavy car at around 5,000 pounds. With the introduction of the GT Speed, the lineup really received that boost of performance and needed to throw it into the ranks. But during this time, a small group of engineers worked to see if they could not only decrease weight, but boost power and handling for the standard GT. This actually led to the development of an all-new model to debut at the Geneva Motor Show, known as the all-new Continental Supersports. You can think of the Supersports as a hardcore evolution of the GT Speed, one that takes direct track-based inspiration of less weight, a more taut lower chassis, and enough power and torque to pull out the road from under it. The name Supersports actually refers to Bentley's long illustrious history of racing and performance monikers from the 1920s, where the current two-person Bentley 3-liter Speed led to the creation of the 3-liter Supersports of 1925, which was the first Bentley to hit 100 miles an hour. The Supersports represents the ultimate Continental, and just like the original, it follows the introduction of the Speed. It blends the two extremes of track performance with the elegance that you would expect from the Continental nameplate. So the biggest question is, how did Bentley not only create the fastest and one of the most agile models for 2010? It starts with revised twin turbochargers that produce more boost than the Speed, in addition to the computer remapping and upgraded internals also found in the Speed. Heat extractors in the hood and larger air intakes up in the front bumper help in cooling, whether it's to directly feed the intercoolers or provide an easy access route for dissipating heat. These changes result in an increase of 21 horsepower and 37 pound-feet of torque over the GT Speed. Now what's also neat is that the Supersports is the first Bentley that's been adapted not only to run on pure E85, but on a combination of E85 and gas in addition to standard fuel, without a loss of power thanks to hardened and retooled internals. Everything is calibrated and adjusted without the driver's knowledge. And while there are no benefits in fuel mileage, emissions are drastically decreased by 70%. The Supersports is not only the fastest, most powerful Bentley ever, but it was also the greenest at the time. The Supersports is more than just engine upgrades. The chassis and suspension have also been revised to make it more agile and decrease body roll. The fully independent suspension consists of double wishbones in front and a multi-link rear. The multi-link suspension actually features more aluminum as well as stiffer bushings with newly designed anti-roll bars, all helping to reduce unsprung weight. Compared to the GT Speed, it's also lower by 0.4 inches in front and 0.6 inches in the rear. Weight saving was also a key in this model. After all, it weighs 243 pounds less than the GT Speed. Throughout the video, I'll also highlight those key changes. Exterior styling features more dark tinted steel that replaces the polished stainless steel of the standard car. This includes the headlamp surrounds, upper and lower unique grille sets, and window surrounds. Not to mention lower side sill accent strips with the Supersports logo towards the front wheels. The rear features a new blacked out exhaust surround that houses larger oval exhaust tips that emit a more menacing growl. A new carbon fiber deck lid spoiler and smoked out tail lamps round out the signature styling touches. The special front fascia and deployable rear spoiler at 50 miles an hour also work to increase aerodynamics and help push the Supersports to its terminal velocity of 204 miles an hour. It's only 2 miles per hour faster than the Speed, but it's a noticeable difference being that it does take a lot more force to move a car at that rate of speed and wind resistance. This top speed has in fact only been recently topped by the current GT Speed by 1 mile per hour. In addition, out back this car also has a wider rear track than the standard models by 2 inches to help accommodate the 1 inch wider offset rear wheels. This leads to a more muscular appearing wide rear fender flares. The Supersports features a unique set of blacked out 10-spoke 20 by 9.5 inch wheels that save 22 pounds in all compared to the standard wheels. They're wrapped in bespoke Pirelli P0 tires measuring 275/35 at each corner. This allows it to pull 1.29 G in cornering forces compared to 0.98 G for the GT Speed. As far as the brakes, upgraded standard ventilated carbon ceramics measure a massive 16.5 inches in front with 8 piston calipers and 13-inch discs in the rear. The carbon ceramics not only provide better fade resistance and durability, but they also shave 44 pounds over the standard iron brakes. This setup brings the car to a stop from 60 miles an hour in a very short 109 feet. Overall length is 189.1 inches with a width of 76.6 inches and a height of 54.3 inches. Total curb weight is around 4,900 pounds.
So we're going to pop the hood.
Once you pop the lever and raise the hood, the Bentley cap will rise, which you would then pull and then raise up on the hood to reveal the engine bay. The Supersports features the signature all-aluminum 6-liter twin-turbocharged and intercooled W12 engine with dual overhead cams and 4 valves per cylinder, producing a compression ratio of 9:1 and a 6,500 RPM redline. In this application, it produces 621 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 590 pound-feet of torque available as low as 2,000 RPM. This translates to 0 to 60 times of 3.5 seconds and quarter-mile times of 12 seconds at 116 miles an hour. As mentioned earlier, top speed is achieved at 204 miles an hour. As far as fuel economy, with a 23.8-gallon tank and required premium fuel, expect a miles per gallon rating of 12 city and 19 on the highway. Weight reduction for the Supersports is more evident when taking a closer look at the interior. While geared for more track-themed styling, the interior still exemplifies Bentley's hand craftsmanship with unique diamond-quilted Alcantara accents across the doors, seats, and rear parcel shelf with red color accent stitching, in addition to soft, supple leather wrapping virtually every surface with aluminum switchgear. The interior comes as standard black with the option of tan, gray, or red accenting like we have here. Down below the door is a little storage pocket, while up top you have all of your electric switches including your trunk release and fuel cap release and lock and unlock with an aluminum door handle. The Bentley finished Sparco track seating features a lightweight carbon fiber shell and ports up top for a racing harness beneath the fixed headrest. They're manually adjusting and take a sacrifice on supple comfort for grip and support. The buckets are nice and deep with thick lateral support, color accent piping as you come across the entire seat. Attention to detail is also wonderful when you compare the leather as well as the Alcantara and the color accent stitching, of course with the Bentley logo stitched on top of the headrest. And thanks to the lightweight carbon fiber shell, these seats actually save an additional 100 pounds off the vehicle's curb weight. Another unique thing about the Supersports that it also has a rear seat delete. In place is a parcel shelf lined in carpet as well as the diamond quilted Alcantara trim. The deletion of the rear seat saves around 57 pounds off the curb weight. There's also a carbon fiber brace that actually prevents your luggage from going in forward to the cabin. Aluminum lines the thresholds as well as the sport pedals. The steering wheel is power tilt telescoping with an auto tilt feature, and the Supersports in general actually have less sound deadening for saving weight. If you look a little bit more closely for a historical perspective, the gauges are actually styled like the original clocks from the 1925 Supersports.
So let's go and see if she sounds. So we're going to shut her up.
The Continental lineup comes standard with a premium 10-speaker surround sound system fed through an LCD Multimedia Navigation Telemetrics interface with all of your touch controls located on either side and convenient buttons. It also features standard satellite radio with iPod integration and a CD changer located in the glove box. Overall, the audio system absolutely sounds fantastic, just as you'd expect for this price point.
leather-lined A-pillars in the Alcantara headliner, and leather-lined grip bars. The visors are wrapped in leather. Auto-dimming rearview mirror. And on the top stack here, you have a 3-position garage home link setup, as well as controls for all of your interior illumination and reading lamps, accented in a carbon fiber housing. Beautiful, elegant design with the overhanging dash and the two-tone color scheme flowing into the center console and blending into the sides of the doors. You have aluminum air registers with the organ stop controls. To close them, just push it in, and to open it, just pull it back out. Elegant analog clock located front and center. Now, as far as your multimedia system, everything is pretty much controlled from the central setup here, including your climate control. It's a dual-zone, totally automatic system with your independent temperature and one-touch automatic on either side, front and rear defrost and recycling. If you hit AC right here, you can control the fan speed via the knob in the middle, as well as select the various zones, as well as secondary air conditioning controls. Turn the system on and off via that button right there if you didn't want it glaring at you at night. It currently doesn't have the navigation DVD in at the moment, but if it was, you can see this is where you entered all of your destination and route information, storing your points of interest and search and area locations, and down below would be your map. If you hit audio, it'll currently bring up what's playing at the moment. You can choose between AM, FM, your iPod auxiliary integration, as well as CD. There's a CD changer located in the glove box. Further down below that are your other radio commands, your shortcuts for your preset stations, seek as well as scan, controlling the balance of the audio system, as well as your equalizer settings. Resetting all the system settings back to factory, your hands-free Bluetooth telephone, it'll automatically ask you to pair it. You have shortcuts for 911 and emergency calling, as well as voice dialing and other pretty much standard things that you would find on a Bluetooth system. Your trip computer, fuel data, bring up the info, it'll bring up the navigation information, everything so you can see what version it is. The vehicle settings, including tire pressure and monitoring based on the particular speed as well as the size of tires that you currently have on the vehicle. Hit the help button right here, depending on which screen that you're in. It'll actually bring up a little menu where it'll tell you what you're currently looking at and what it actually means. Not to mention vehicle setup. These are all the personalizable options of the vehicle, so you can customize it however you're liking. As we continue down the carbon fiber accented center console, there's an electronic parking brake here, as well as your power heated mirrors like I told you earlier, with the power folding function. Lighter and ashtray and/or power outlet, heated seats, your damper adjustments, to automatically bring it up. For more comfort and sport settings, raising and lowering the rear spoiler, adjusting the vehicle's height with the active air suspension. Full leather padded center console with 2 adjustable cup holders and a good amount of space. Everything has a nice solid feel to it. It's wonderful. As far as your steering wheel, houses your cruise control off to the left, hands-free telephone and voice commands off to the right, as well as your radio controls. This right here, the little menu and the little toggle wheel, correspond to your driver info system, located in the little digital pack in between the speedometer cluster. If you hit menu, it will go through the different options, navigation, telephone, radio, trip computer, and then using the little wheel to go through the different sub-menus and click down for enter. And of course your wipers, high beams, and turn signals. Alrighty. I'm going to shut her down. And we'll check out the rest of the vehicle, shall we?
Now, a nice little convenience factor standard on the Continental GT lineup in general is a full power trunk. Just press the button, it automatically releases, and reveals a respectable 13.1 cubic feet of cargo space, more than enough for an extended long weekend vacation. There's also a trunk pass-through if you need to stow some larger items, and everything's nicely wrapped in soft, plush carpet. There's also cargo anchors on either side of the trunk with illumination.
Same manual adjustments on the passenger side that you find on the driver's. The leather trails down here and covers the glove box, which is lockable. Aluminum lever, lined in felt with a good amount of storage, and your iPod integration. You also have a 6 CD changer and the DVD drive for the navigation.
The Continental Supersports represents everything that makes a Bentley a Bentley. With a dose of racing DNA and refinement and looks of an elegant coupe, it's no wonder why the Continental has been as successful as it has. Now, more than ever, it's also known not only for speed, but sport as well.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed this in-depth look at the 2010 Bentley Continental GT Supersports. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's a lot more where that came from. Take care everybody.